Welcome to the 400th video. Don't know how long I'll stay on tonight, but I said that I'd do these live broadcasts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let me invite some people. So, at the bench, and I'll give you a rundown of what I'm doing tonight. Same thing I've been doing for a while here. At the bench. video. 9 o'clock. There we go. Colby. And post. And let's pull this back up. All right, I'm going to turn off the toolbox. No, we're going to turn off the banner first. Up. And we'll turn off the toolbox. Open that up. And I can't see any chat. I just about got it figured out so I can do that. But what I'm doing tonight and what I'm going to do is a review on the AutoZone 5000 grit sanding pad. I normally use 5000 grit sandpaper. This is 2000 grit because AutoZone didn't have any 5000. But they had some 5000 wet dry sanding pad. And it's kind of a, I don't know, it's like a piece of cloth with a foam on it, foam back pad. So I figured I'd give it a try. And it works really good. And I've been asked, and Larry Fruits and I talked about sweat equity in a model and in a dope finish. And we talked about how many hours are in a paint job. Well, for a light paint job, and I do mean light, I thought this airplane was 56 ounces, but at the contest yesterday, they weighed it, and it was 53. I don't believe it. It's 56 ounces. What does it take for a nice shine? And it takes the sweat equity of this rubbing. And Mark Hughes is going to be stopping by the shop here, and I'm going to show him how to take his very nice stiletto and make the shine come up. And unfortunately, you really can't see on camera the boning of this. I suppose if I sanded it with 2000, you could see it. But what this 5000 does is it basically takes the shine out of it and it levels everything. And how much effort you're willing to put into into the after effect is how good the finish is going to look. Now, I did win the concourse trophy, by the way, at Broken Arrow. And if you saw the movie that I posted, I won this plaque. It's a nice like oak plaque or some type of hardwood, and you stick on your different concourse awards. And I have 5 on here now. I can't find the other ones. I know there's many more. And I decided that I would take my Thunderbolt that I crashed down in Memphis, which I won. I did win a concourse award with, so this is the only piece I have left. I figured I would take this and glue it to the plaque and hang it on the wall. I mean, it's a little odd, but I really like that airplane, and I'm not going to build another one. I built 5 of them, and I'm on to different things. I didn't do very well at the contest for the simple fact I may be able to get away with not having any flights in scale, but you can't do that in stunt. I only have about 11, maybe 12 flights for the year, 12 patterns for the year, and they were scoring very high. I only lost by 9.5 points, but the difference between not the first and the 6th was 9.5 points. And what really got me, what really hurt me, is during my 2nd official, I left this tube off. It was up like this, and the motor went lean. And I didn't realize it until after the reverse swing over, and the airplane was running at about 300 miles an hour. And everybody else's scores went up, mine went down. I really needed to slow it down instead of speed it up. So, while I was at the contest, Gary Hayjack was there, and I bought a great block of wood. I'll show you that block of wood that I didn't show. And I also got a set of 64-foot lines. Now the biggest treasure was the block of wood. Yeah, it has a piece cut out of the end here, but the treasure, this block. This is a nice block of wood. It's 2 inches thick by 4 inches wide. And let's see what it weighs. It's only 11 ounces. It's really nice. I also ended up giving this piece a 1/2 inch. This is my new airplane like this. Can you see it? I can. This piece here will be the stabilizer. This is real nice too. So back to sweat equity. I've been rubbing on this now. I finished it up and I rubbed it the first time before the contest, basically because I wanted to do all right in the concourse area. And Larry Fruits had a real nice airplane, and I voted for him. I guess he voted for me, and it kind of nullified everything. But Larry knows what it takes to get a nice shine on an airplane. And I kind of judged him, gave him the Nats judging. Now, when you're doing this boning out, I've sanded through the ink lines, 1, 2, 3 back there. I'm going to have to replace those. I've also sanded through the ink lines up here. And once I get this rub buffed and ready, you know, in that type shape, I'll put the ink lines back on it and touch up the clear and rub that clear out. And she'll be ready to go for next year. So I would say that that the paint job on the back end, Tom, if you're listening, is much more labor intensive than the actual paint job itself, if you want a light airplane. And those airplanes that I painted, the Formula S, that has more clear on it than this. The P-51 has more clear on it than this. And I believe that, that other one, Max B, has the same amount of clear as this. So, you know, when you look at it and you see, well, that doesn't look like it's going to shine. Shine comes from elbow grease, if you want it light. So, my review of the 5000 grit AutoZone sanding pad is a good one. It holds water. It doesn't look like it's sandpaper, but if you can look at the shine here, the shine came right up. So that's a good thing. I don't think the camera showing the shine. I will run for another 15 minutes, and if nobody comes on, I did get my 400th video up. I'm waiting on my sister to send me my dad's reunion. I was going to put that up for the 400th video. My dad went to Philadelphia for a naval reunion, and they awarded him, he was a plank holder on AO-62 USS Toluga, the only tanker hit during World War II by a Japanese kamikaze that didn't sink. So they gave him a plaque, and it's a real nice plaque, and my sister's supposed to be sending me a movie, but the file's pretty large, so I got to help her through the sending of the video. Looks like we got it pretty good. I'm going to have to, this will drive me nuts. I'll have to repair that. There's no way I can live with that. But that's what happens when you sand them. If you don't have any clear on it, like I don't, then you run the risk of sanding through on the high spot. Airplane flies exceptionally well. I didn't fly it exceptionally well, but I can tell that I got something here. So we're going to have to take good care of it. Need to build another one to back up. I'm working on the Continental. Jerry, your wing is covered. There's 3 coats of dope on it. Tomorrow I'll put 4 coats. Fin 50-50. Tomorrow I'll put 2 coats on it. We'll sand it up and get ready to put the airplane together. So you'll be seeing me here shortly. No sense in rushing it. You've been waiting a year, so another month or two, another month ain't gonna kill you. So let me get the pins. I'm gonna fix those lines now. I just, uh-oh, I might have to do a pen cleaning. No, there we go. Oh, I'm bummed out. Let's see. Yeah, I can still feel it. Okay. Let's see if we can make this work. I think I need different glasses for this operation. I'm not going to clear the whole wing. I'm only going to take an airbrush and clear the ink line and then rub that out. The airplane flies extremely well, and it would be a true crime to ruin it for looks by adding weight to it. Yeah, I don't like that. So, the nice thing about ink is, if you don't like it, you just wipe it off. Okay. These other lines are cleared over pretty well. The reason why I'm having a problem here is I inked right over the top of the ridge of the white, and you know, I might want to try a thinner pen. It's hard to know what to do here. Might just have to not worry about it. Let's try to fix these back here first, I guess. They were very generous to me for appearance points. 20. This ain't a 20 pointer, but I'll take it. I had some decent scores on from Steve Smith, match judge. 38 for takeoff. Reverse swing over wasn't so good. For one, 37 and 39, 39 inverted. Outside loops of 39, inside loops 38, 36. It was a hard fought contest, but yeah, this thing is not going to go easy for me. I can see it's going to be a real bear. But determination. I remember when I was a kid out in the garage hammering nails. I'm sure everybody remembers it. Hammer a nail, it would bend over. Hammer a nail, it would bend over. And I'd get so mad and frustrated. And I said to my dad, I said, how do you hammer nails without getting them to bend over? He said, you have to hit it with determination. Here comes somebody.
Hey, Sparky, happy 400th video.
Yeah. I'm just doing the rubbing and the touch-ups on this. I won a concourse with it.
Yeah, I watched the ones at that contest. That looked like that was a pretty nice contest.
Very small. Here's the trophy. I took the state of Missouri plaque and I glued my Thunderbolt tail to it. And I mounted 5 of the 10 concourse trophies that I've won. And when I find the other 5, I'll 4 on this side and 1 over here. I'll put them on there.
That's way cool. I like that.
Well, I've been waiting to do something with that. I crashed that Thunderbolt down in Memphis a few years back. And I've been waiting to do something with it. The last piece that I had left of it. And I had always figured on doing something like that.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. I was doing a test on the 5,000 grit AutoZone sanding pad. And I sanded my ink lines off back there.
Oops. Did they work okay otherwise?
Oh yeah, good pad. I sanded the ink lines off here, but I don't think I'm going to worry about it right now. We'll have to figure it out at a later date. I don't like that. Wipe it off, start again. I'll worry about those at a later date.
From the videos at the contest, the one they showed you flying, it seemed to fly pretty well to me.
It's a good flying airplane. It's just that I don't fly it. You know, I only got 12 flights for the year or something like that. You just can't compete in a contest with 12 flights for the year.
Yeah, especially toward the end of the season like that.
Right.
Yeah.
The contest was tight. First, I was sixth place, and first place was only 9 points, 9.5 points from me.
Oh, wow. That was tight.
Yeah.
Anyone else tonight, or I'm the first on?
You're the first on, and I'm not going to stay on as long as I normally do tonight. I have some other things I need to take care of, but I promised that I would do Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, or at least try.
Yeah. Yeah, on the video that they took of your one flight, it sure has a striking view in the sky. It's gorgeous. I like the way that looks in the air.
Well, I thank you. Let's see. Does it look okay? I can't see anymore. Still getting old. I tell you where I really notice it is when I'm kneeling down on the pavement. My knees are killing me. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Hey
Hey,
guys,
Carl.
What we got there?
this is Charles Carter.
Hey, Charles, how's it going?
It's going well. I thought I would just pop in and say hello. I might have to see if I can rejoin you guys if you guys are still on later on.
I won't be. I'm only going to stay on about a half an hour tonight.
All righty.
But I promised that I would do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And this is my 400th video.
Wow. It's amazing. Well, I'm going to sign off. I just wanted to say hello, everybody.
Good to see you, Charles.
Hey,
Good night.
Good to see you too.
Take
See you
care.
next time.
Good
All
night.
right, bye-bye. Good night.
Him and I had a good discussion. I like him. He's a good guy.
He seems like a real nice guy.
We talked about a wide range of things at Brodex.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Well-
almost thinking I'm going to try to follow your suggestion, not bother with the gnats. I figured out the distance to Carmichael's, and it's about 1,550 miles from where I am. So if I can possibly save some money, I at least want to go spectate, at least.
Brodex?
I'd like to build. Yeah.
Brodex is
Does
the
that look-
Brodex is the best contest of the season.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard. Out that VSC's neat to see, but no way I would want to compete with those guys.
Well, you know, when I say Brodex the best contest of the season, I really can't say that in a blanket statement because I've never been to the VSC. And from what I hear, you know, if you like the nostalgia airplanes, that's a good contest too. And Mike Cavell puts on a good contest along with no, I can't think of his name. Keith Trossel.
Yeah.
But I've never been to it, so
I wonder who's doing it now. I know Trossel moved to Denver, I think.
I don't think
I
so.
thought Cavell stopped being the head honcho a while ago, but
There's
it
a
sure
lot-
has been interesting.
There's a lot of guys on the forum that live in Tucson.
Yeah.
Shine's coming up pretty good with all the elbow grease.
Yeah, it's looking really nice. What's it been, about 2 weeks since it's been done, or?
Yeah. You'll probably get one. I mean, I can't say one more. Probably maybe two more before next year's Nats.
Yeah.
One more in about another 2 or 3 months. And then the week before the Nationals, I'll start rubbing again.
Yeah.
If it lasts that long. My airplanes do have a pretty good longevity.
Yeah. I'm tending to believe it will.
I'm bummed out about these lines here. I'm going to think about this and see if I can paint those on.
Those ink lines? Yeah.
Yeah, what I might be able to do is cut a stencil and put it on with a stencil, which I should have done in the first. Somebody was asking me, I can't remember the guy's name. He does T-shirts for a living.
Yeah.
He was asking me to look over his airplane and this. And he said, "Well, these are all decals." I said, "Yeah, that's nice. Mine's all paint. I just don't do decals."
Yeah.
just for the simple fact, what I did there, rubbed through the
Yeah.
the ink lines. You rub through a decal when they're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks like quite a challenge, paint or ink, to do the XL and clear the R and June R and look right.
Well, I'll clear that later, probably next week. But I just about got open broadcast figured out. I did a mock broadcast, and I didn't upload it because I wasn't real happy with it. But since I work on the engineering of the sound, I'll be able to do a open broadcast, which is kind of cool, a studio type broadcast.
Yeah.
Much more rubbing to do. I still got the bottom to do. The bottom's been boned out, but not rubbed.
Yeah.
But I'm burnt out on rubbing. I've been rubbing today.
Yeah. There's only so much a person can do before it wears you out.
Yeah, I think I'll build that wing again, so it's ready to go tomorrow. I got lots of projects here.
Yeah, I've tended to notice that. You've got so much going on all the time.
So I'll do this here. I'll give her another. This is the wing that I did on camera the other night.
Yeah. The one that was being the pain in the tush. He sure looks nice now.
Don't let the bastards get you down.
Yeah.
If people only knew how much sanding goes into building model airplanes, I don't think they'd ever do it. To make a really nice model.
Yep, there's a lot of sanding. Oh, I know what I was going to ask. Any rough estimate how much lighter the new plane came out using silk span in lieu of polyspan? Did you guess?
Probably 2 ounces.
Yeah.
You can't hardly beat polyspan if you're a klutz.
Which I am.
You have to be, pretty aware of if your airplane is silk span and not poke a hole in it.
Yeah.
So if you're careful, you don't run over any twigs or sticks. That was my Monado.
Yeah.
2 years ago when I finished that in September and took it out and flew it. The very first flight, a stick flipped up off the pavement and poked a hole in the wing.
Oh, geez. Hate it when that happens.
But I did the repair video that you can find on the Stunt Hanger and or on my video channel here. And you can't tell.
Somebody's sure going to get a nice airplane.
It'll be nice. He paid me well for it, so I got to do a decent job. That and I'm going to work for him, when I go over there to Dayton. So.
Yeah. What has he got you doing?
He owns a trucking company, and their company takes vans and turns them into wheelchair accessible vans, or he builds truck bodies or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And because I was I'm a Harley mechanic.
Yeah.
And an airplane builder, and I've done a lot of things in my life, machinist, and welder. I can do anything that I want.
Yeah.
And he was quite trusting. They turned me loose on an $80,000 van on the way back. They said, "Here, we're going to put you with this guy, and you're going to
An $80,000.
basically work under his direction."
Yeah.
Shit, I about worked his guy to death.
Yeah. That must be quite the van to be $80,000.
Could have been more money than 80. Might have been 100. That lift was no cheap thing. Probably 10 grand. Push the button, the door opens. The ramp unfolds. The wheelchair rolls up in it. Then it puts you up in the van. The door shuts.
Oh, wow. That's a whole lot more automated than the wheelchair buses I drove for a school district. So I'm a little familiar with the lifts anyway. That must take some serious reinforcement to attach those to.
We just took, the van comes, it was brand new, brand new, no miles on it. And now remember, he's a member on the forum here.
Yeah.
He doesn't know me, my work ethics from Adam. And so they turned me loose on this thing. I mean, that's a lot of faith.
Yep.
I had no doubt in my mind, his guy said, "Here, cut a hole in the body." I took the saw and cut a hole here. I ripped out the seats and redid the floor and cut plywood. And I guess he told Jerry that he had never seen plywood cut that perfect before.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well,
You're going to cut wood, you want to cut it right the first time.
I've only built one or two model airplanes, so it's all the same shit. Motorcycles, it's all nuts and bolts. Model airplanes is, I was a cabinet maker for a while. I did sign painting. I was a glazer for a while. Worked in a body shop. Shit, I even drove truck for a while. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
It's what you got to do. Aviation instruction mechanic in the Navy.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's a family tradition in my family. That's a statement my dad always made. And it kind of fits all three of his boys too, with the exception of my middle brother. He's the number one or number two. He may be the number one lead wastewater treatment guy in Pueblo. So he did a serious job.
When I grew up, my dad, our family was wealthy, but my dad was cheap. He said if you want it, you got to go get it. If you want a bicycle, we built it out of the trash. Yeah. And guys always had race cars and this, that, and my dad never gave me that. But if I wanted one, I had to make it. So anything that I wanted, I had to make.
Oh, wow.
And that's probably the best gift that was ever given to me, because
you know how to make stuff. Period.
You get to see my airplanes
Yeah.
close up. Am I the best builder? Man, probably not, but I'm one of them,
Yeah.
But
I'm sure Hunt and Werwage's airplanes are both something to see. Too.
They're nice, You can't tell, you couldn't tell the difference. Matter of fact, they were holding my Thunderbolts. You couldn't tell. When you get up to a certain level of builder, they all look like the same guy built it, because there's only one way to make them.
Yeah.
It's either sanded right, shaped right, covered right, or it's not.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of guys come a long ways in the last 10 years, really. The guy who really has progressed in building would be Doug Moon. When I saw his airplane the last time, it was beautiful. I mean, he wasn't at this year's NAS. I guess it was last year that I saw it. It was perfect. Okay, that's one side. Wait a minute, turn it over to the other side.
That the third or fourth coat? Or no?
That's the fifth coat.
Oh, okay.
But this dope is thin 60/40. But that's okay. Really thinned down a lot. I want the stuff to burn in from one coat to the next.
Yeah.
I'm only going to bring this airplane up to the primer on the fuselage.
Yeah.
I might, I'm not painting this airplane. I'm just getting it ready for paint. And when the customer puts the tape on, I don't want them to peel the paper off.
Yeah.
What we got here?
Good evening, it's Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Welcome to my 400th video.
Congratulations.
Yeah. All I need is about 300 more subscribers for the next thing. And you know what? Really, make sure everybody that's watching, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, because something is supposed to happen with 30 likes, and I've never got 30 likes yet, so I don't know what happened. So help me out. Give me a thumbs up on the video.
Certainly.
I learned a valuable lesson today in lead out location.
In the what?
A valuable lesson in lead out location.
Oh, okay. Should be just behind the center of gravity. What lesson did you learn?
I had it too far back. and I was having trouble with two of my plane's little profiles, a ringmaster and a flight streak, that were hunting.
Mhm.
And as I moved them forward, the hunting went away.
You know, I've heard a lot of cockamamie stories about hanging them from the lead outs and looking at the angle and the line rake program, this, that, and the other. And this is just how I do it. Find the center of gravity and put the lead outs 1/4 inch to a half behind. That's a good place to start, and then start moving them back and forth. And you won't have to move them more than 1/4 inch. Just what I found.
Yeah, the only question I have now, I don't know how far forward I can go. I definitely hit that area, though, where I went too far back.
Well, when you go too far back, when you give it up, the airplane will start doing gyrations. When you move them forward, the airplane flies clean. When you move them back, it rakes it out. So when you give it up, it's, you know, trying to turn itself out. But if you want to know how far forward you can go, move them all the way forward and see what happens.
Yeah, have it come in and visit me.
Well, if you got motor offset, that shouldn't happen. You got motor offset?
Just I put like a brass wire. I'm running a LA-25 on these things,
Okay.
and I just a brass washer underneath the aluminum plate on the front bolt.
That's about a 1/2 degree. That ain't much.
But one of the things that was nice was that, and I was worried about, and the reason I kept moving it back, I was trying to get line tension. And when I moved it back forward, because when it was back, I had hunting problems, plus I still didn't get the line tension that I was expecting. When I moved them forward, you know, I got the hunting to stop, but I also regained the line tension.
You know why you get regain line tension?
It was going faster around the circle.
That's right. Centrifugal force. And the reason that I use a lot of guys, I mean, you can talk to a lot of guys and they'll say, well, don't listen to Sparky, he uses motor offset or rudder offset, or I do all the shit that's, I trim my airplanes just like they did in the late 60s. Motor offset, rudder up, you know, rudder offset. And I usually like to have 1/8 of an inch difference in tip in the tip of propeller, whatever that works out to. So it's 1/8 of an inch closer from here to here than it is from here to here. So that's about 3 degrees, I'd say.
Yeah.
Does that XL use a equal wingspan on the inboard and outboard?
1/2 inch asymmetry.
Okay.
And the outboard flap is bigger than the inboard. All the airplanes that I build, I run, it's kind of like setting up a sprint car. A sprint car is set up to go left. It uses stagger and wedge.
Right.
And the stagger is a bigger tire on the outboard, you know, left front wheel or right front wheel to hold that car turning left. And the wedge is, they load the springs so it doesn't lift the left front wheel under torque. So in control line, we're using the out pitch of the engine like this, the stagger, and the line rake like the wedge. But we have a third dimension, which is the rudder, which, you know, my Thunderbolt had an adjustable rudder, but this has just an airfoil sanded in the rudder. And just so there's a little there on the rudder, seems to work out the best. You can't get line tension by moving lines or rudder offset around, in my opinion. You need motor offset, but he says there is no centrifugal force overhead. The only thing that you have overhead is gravity, and gravity is not your friend when you're overhead. So motor offset offsets the gravity.
Well, how much does wingtip weight affect line tension?
Wingtip weight is only to offset the weight of the lines. So the longer the lines you have, the more wingtip weight you're going to be. A good place to start with your 64-foot lines is a ½ ounce of wingtip weight. You want to be able, the airplane to just do a slow roll to the outside. Now this is my theory of trimming. Paul Walker has a different theory, and you know he's a world champ, so whatever he says, you probably should listen to him. You know, he's got a trimming book, and you know, he's probably a better authority on trimming, and Billy Werwage is a good. I just talking in my how I do things, and so I started a ½ ounce of wingtip weight. We adjust it by, you know, 1/8 of an ounce from there, in or out. But how I bench trim an airplane is make sure that the flaps are level, the wings aren't warped. You want a little bit of down elevator. I know this sounds crazy. You want the wings, the wing flaps straight, and I mean maybe a ½ degree of down. And what that does is it holds the nose down, because especially an airplane like this, they always look like they're flying like a lowrider with the nose up, if the flaps are equal. So I just put a little bit of down in it, and that lifts the tail up, and they look pretty flat. And if you'll notice on the video that was shot at Broken Arrow of my airplane flying, the wings are, I mean, I have done nothing but bench trim this airplane. I haven't moved the lead outs. I didn't tweak the flaps. I didn't adjust the center of gravity. It's all been done on the bench. So it flew right off the bench just like you saw it in the contest. I haven't had a chance to really play with it that much, and we'll get to that later on. There'll be some little things that I can do. But what I do is a little bit of down in the elevator so that the nose will fly in a straight attitude. Some people say incidents in the stab. I don't believe in that. I believe in zero. Zero incidents in the motor. I don't want to point the motor down, which would be the same as drooping the stab. But I run that 0. Then ½ ounce of wingtip weight. Find the center of gravity, and it should be ahead of about 30% of the wing. So the high point of the wing is a good place to start. And the lead out should be just behind the center of gravity for line rate, and just a slight amount of rudder offset and 3 degrees motor offset, you're good to go in my book. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it did. Thank you very much.
Now remember, if Paul Walker tells you something different, you know, he's the world champ, I'm not.
Rank has its privileges, huh?
He can tell you something different, but, you know, and I would suggest that you try it his way. But I'm going to do it my way just because I'm stubborn and I've been doing it for 50 years that way. So seems to work for me. Now on this airplane, I am going to try a Billy Werwage trick maybe this summer. He puts a little trim tab out here, and I asked him why he did that at this year's Nats, and he said, you can't really tweak, once you get the flaps zeroed in, which these are, you can't really tweak them out at the field, and if you tweak them in one way or another, they won't be correct in different attitudes, but you can add a little trim tab made of aluminum out there, and you can make adjustments at the field. So I'm going to try that. I don't believe in taped hinge lines, but there's some guys that, but like Whiteley and Hunt and all that, they won't even fly their airplane without taped hinge lines. And my attitude is, if you make the gap close, you don't have to tape the hinge line.
Yeah. That's why I like your hinges, because there's no gap.
Right.
Well, I did, in talking with Paul Walker, I asked him about, because he tapes his elevator hinge line as well.
Right.
And I didn't know they did that. I knew about the flaps, but I did not know that they taped the elevator. So, but he does both.
Well, then tape your hinge lines. I won't do it.
Oh, what is with my foot?
I've been amazed how many. The reason people do it is because they see it on other planes, and they just
Right.
like a copycat, and they really don't understand the reason why behind it.
Well, I'll tell you a story about the '07 National. See that airplane? Oh, you can't see it. Wrong camera angle. There's an airplane sitting over there in the corner, S6B Supermarine that I flew in the '07 National. And I'm there. I don't have much time on it like normally when I go to the nets. So I'm not flying all that well. And I got some people that are going to help me trim this thing. And I'm open-minded, I'll try anything just to see how it works. So they say, well, you got to tape the hinges. Okay, so I go, this is at the Nats. I go to the Staples or whatever, and I get the tape that they recommend for taping hinges. And Chris Regatti and I go to the hotel room, and he shows me how he tapes his hinges. And so I tape them up. Next morning we go out there and fly, and I almost hit the ground. I ripped that tape right off. No, thank you.
Stiffen the controls that bad, or what?
The airplane just acted different. It really stiffened the controls, just acted funny. I said, no, thanks. Yeah, but a lot of guys, Bob Whiteley, Paul Walker, Gordon Delaney, they're all taped hinge line advocates, and that's great, not me. You're not gonna get much closer than this. See that groove in there?
Mm-hmm.
Zero gap. Let me give you a. There's a groove in here. When you put this in there, there is zero gap. So I like that setup a lot better. But as I stated, if Paul Walker, Paul Walker's got some great ideas, and I can't take anything away from him. He's a world champion, If he says, try it, do it.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys use his trim chart. A lot of them.
Well, the chart is right on, basic trimming. It's close, Especially if a guy, brand new and doesn't know where to start. You got to start somewhere, and might as well start with a winner. Paul Walker is a winner, so.
Yeah.
The winning flight is at the bottom of a fuel gallon, or gallon of fuel. I just haven't been putting in the time, but I'm going to this year.
How many coats do you have on that wing now?
There's 5 coats on it now. We'll get one more coat and I'll put it together. Probably by tomorrow we'll be installing this wing in the fuselage and making it one whole airplane. It's a lot easier to finish the wing outside the airplane. But this is just a new habit for me because when I was younger, I always put them together and then covered them. But I like this way better. I always thought there was an integrity problem, but there's not. Meaning that when I was younger, I thought that you had to have wood to wood in order for it to be a really good bond. But if you've watched my past videos, the way that I finished the wing, put the fuselage on, and put a fillet inside the airplane and outside the airplane, it just can't come off. No possible way. I think probably the biggest thing when I was a kid that was a killer of my airplanes was I really didn't get them. I didn't have the money to use, to use the proper stuff and enough of it, because they would get fuel soaked.
Oh, gee.
And that's a killer. So now, for longevity, I'm using Z-Epoxy and Superfill and those things, so that's not an issue any longer. Plus, with urethane and that, just comes with practice, I guess. You still there?
Yep.
Okay, good. You guys went quiet on me.
Mondays usually, when I do get fuel supplies, usually on Mondays, they can go out.
Pardon me?
When I do go out to fly, it's usually on Mondays, Monday mornings. It's pretty nice because I have a soccer field that's out here. There's the kids are in school right now. No soccer's being played. So I have a whole, it's like there's 6 soccer fields out here on this site. So I can pick my choice.
What, kids don't go to school in September anymore?
No, they're in school. That's what makes it nice. I don't have to worry about kids walking in or playing soccer. Because they're in school.
Yeah.
Where I fly at is a soccer complex. That's all they play is soccer out there.
Well, Booter Park, where I fly, is a designated model airplane field, period. It was donated by Lydia Booter to the St. Louis Yellow Jackets for the exclusive purpose of model airplanes. But the Parks Department has seemed to lost the paperwork and nobody has record of it. So now they're starting to bring in the soccer people. And the soccer people will use our flying field and they'll be on the square pad playing soccer on the asphalt.
Why would they be doing that?
I don't know, but there's a sign on the fence that says model airplanes have, priority over anything, and if there's a problem, call a ranger. And I've called them a few times, and some of them guys get extremely hostile, but you know what? Too bad.
Yeah, if it was a designated model airplane only facility, you've got priority.
You can play soccer anywhere. We got one place in St. Louis to fly a model airplane.
Are you tightening up a loose screw?
Yep. Dig it. I can hear what I'm talking about.
Well, I think I'm going to fade out for the night. Touch base with you Wednesday.
All right, buddy. See you Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'll probably run this another 5 minutes and I'll close it up.
All right. How many do you have come in tonight?
3, you, Charles, and I can't remember his name. The guy who just left.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty. Just run it for an hour tonight. I was rubbing on my. I starting the bone out process on my Junar. I won the concourse trophy at the contest.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, what I did was I won the concourse trophy, which somebody made a plaque of the state of Missouri. See, cut out real nice.
Okay.
And this is an airplane that I crashed several years ago, but this was Win Paul, who is the Pampa historian, is doing a book, and this is the airplane that's plane of the year for 2007. Well, I crashed it, so I didn't really want to throw the last piece away because I had 4 months of labor into this thing, but it did last 10 years. So anyway, I saved the tail, and I figured someday I would do something like this, and this seemed to be a perfect opportunity to do it. So I got, these are all the years that I could find. I know I got 5 more of the concourse trophy. So this one's in 07, 06, 7, 12, 14, 16, but I know there's more around here. I just can't find them yet. So this would be my concourse display. I was sad when this hit the ground. And all because I couldn't let John Simpson beat me by half a point. That is competitive.
What'd you do? Just pull maneuver too low, or
No,
did something break?
no. It was a weather crash. And what I mean by weather is the temperature fluctuated. And this had a PA-75 in it. And I swung a 15.45 propeller. And it took 8 ounces of fuel to run a pattern. Well, if the weather changed, I had to adjust the needle valve. So I adjusted the needle valve, opened it up to slow it down, meaning that it needed a little more than 8 ounces of fuel. And I got to the 4-leaf clover, and it quit on the upstroke, and it went right over the top and into the ground.
Oh, man.
Without warning. Just one of them deals. I just wadded it up and threw it in the car and drove home. Very sad. I think Ted Winterman has the wing.
All righty, well, I gotta get going here. I got a grandkid I gotta take care of, so. Good
All
talking
right.
with you today, Sparky.
We'll see you Wednesday.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me on my 400th video. The show is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 o'clock. Probably should just start running it for an hour instead of 2 hours. 2 hours is just too much, but we'll see how that goes depending on participation. So, till I see you guys again, fair winds, tight lines. See ya!